Welcome to today's MBS Talks Analyzing Data with Power BI. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to type them in the chat box below. Now, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Mr. Prashant Stevens.
Yeah, thank you, Antonia. And I welcome all of you for today's session on analyzing data with Power BI. It's a great pleasure to have you all on board. And this is one of the most important session. I would say this is the most important topic which is going in today's corporate scenario. So before we start with today's session, I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Prashant. I'm basically an industrial expert in visualization. I've also trained many professionals across the globe into this technology. So I welcome you all wholeheartedly for this session. And before we start, I'd just like to mention a few ground rules. We would be having this session going on. So definitely I invite, if you have any questions, you can ask me once we are done with this presentation. So we'll have a Q&A slot exclusively wherein I can take in your questions. So we'll walk you through with this and you know, one of the most important and experiential learning phase. Okay, so if I talk about Power BI is primarily the most important application which is used across the globe. It's basically the business intelligence tool, which is designed and prepared by the company called as Microsoft. So I'll just quickly tell you what we are going to have in today's session. So we are going to understand what is Power BI. We are going to also understand why we should use Power BI as professionals, as organizations. Then we are also going to understand who are the users, like primarily who can use Power BI. In fact, this tool is for everyone. So I would also say that, okay, these are the key people who are using this application in today's corporate scenario. And plus, we are going to understand the components of Power BI. Okay. Then we are going to also understand the architecture of Power BI and the building blocks of Power BI. So it's going to be an interesting session wherein you are going to understand what exactly is Power BI, because I guess some of you must be familiar with this tool or might have used it. But yes, it's very important for a beginner to know what are the basics of Power BI before we dive into this subject. So as industry is growing on, and the importance of business intelligence, data, big data analytics is catching pace. And that's the reason tools like Power BI, Tableau, Informatica, Qlik, these tools have really catch the attention of the experts or the industry decision makers or the CEOs of the companies, because that's where data is very critical for the organization. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool and has greater aspects, or I would say it has a great control on analytics. It is used as an analytical tool when it comes to making decisions. Now, if I just say that it's just for visualization, then I would say that I'm really trying to demotivate or rather underestimate the potential of Power BI. It also helps you to get more insights within the organization's data. Now, data is scattered. It's available in all sorts of format, maybe structured, maybe unstructured. The data might not be clean, and that's where intelligence tool like a business intelligence tool like Power BI comes into picture. Okay, so it is used to find insights. You get more granularity of the data. You understand the data more in detail, try to find out different relationships with the data. And that's the reason we have this business intelligence tool, which is Power BI. So it is primarily, many people feel like, okay, it's just a visualization platform. We just create multiple visualization. Yes, agreed. But other than visualizations, it is used to get more deeper into the data. We can make different data models. We can create different data, analytics on that. We can get more deeper into the data study. And that's the reason Power BI is used across the globe. It provides the user with the following features. Why it is so popular, why it's catching pace, is because of such functionality of aggregation. Now, your data might come from different sources, as already mentioned by me. It can come through your online premises. It can come through your, live stream data. It can come through data sources like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. It can even come through a basic local files like, Excel, CSV, and so many other, sources. And the most important factor why Power BI is used is primarily not only the cleaning factor is there, but also it helps you to aggregate the data, collate data from multiple sources. So the aggregating feature of Power BI is one of the most powerful features. So that's why we generally use this word as ETL, that is extraction, transformation, and loading, right? So we extract data from different sources. It's like the aggregation function which comes into picture. Then the next part is analyzing. Now, why do we analyze data? Because we want to make decisions. Our data sets are like, multiple. There are thousands and thousands of data sets which Power BI can connect with. Now, if you say, what is a data set? Data set is primarily a source of data or different formats of data which you pull in from multiple sources. So it can be through Excel file, it can be through CSV file, it can be from any PDF data, it can be from any kind of unstructured, even JSON files. A lot of data sources are there. And that's the reason it helps us to analyze the data, make meaningful insights from the data. You literally massage the data, you work on the data, you pull many important information from the data, and that's the reason we use Power BI. Then visualization is one of the most important feature of Power BI, one of the most important features of Power BI, because that's the reason Power BI has so many inbuilt applications or visualization platforms or tools which helps you to view data in different sources. Now, it is rightly mentioned or said by one of the greatest Nobel experts or Nobel Prize winner, Ronald Coase. He says that if you torture the data long enough, it can confess to anything. And that's the reason we use Power BI. Visualization is like a picture worth 1,000 words. And that's the reason visualization is one of the key important things. No one likes to view the data in those regular mundane files or tabular formats, maybe through Excels or something like linear equations, which might seem confusing and you don't get exactly what we look out for the data. But visualization is very easy. It is very clear for us. It's crystal clear. The data is crystal clear because it's in form of visualization. And that's the reason we use Power BI, something which I can store or capture or memory can capture for a long time. That's the reason visualization comes into picture. Then the next phase comes with the sharing. Now, Power BI is not only a kind of a production house, I would say. It also has a lot of capabilities wherein you can collaborate with different stakeholders within the organization. Now, Power BI is basically, it's a suite, okay? It comes like you have the Power BI desktop, which is primarily you can install it. It also has a feature wherein you can use a free version from the Microsoft application store. You can download it. The only condition that it has is like one of the restrictions it has is like you have to have your official email ID to log in the credentials, and that's how you use Power BI desktop. Now, Power BI desktop is like it's an inbuilt system. You can download it. You can use it at any point of time because it's a desktop version. It's also free of cost. Now, if you want to use more applications of Power BI, you have to basically, you need to subscribe to the different versions. Like you have the Pro version, you have the Business Suite and all those. but that's not what we are going to get into now. But this is just for your information. Now, it has the SaaS model, that is software as a service model, which is called as the Power BI service, which is a cloud based application where sharing data is one of the most important aspects. It also has Power BI mobile application. Again, people might use Power BI because they can connect to different sources. They can easily view the dashboards, and it is one of the best platforms for collaboration and easy decision making. So this is why, like many people get confused. It's only for visualization, but I would say it's not completely a visualization tool. It is more than what you can even think of. So you can use Power BI for visualization, aggregation, sharing, and analysis. Okay, so this was just a brief introduction about Power BI. Then, why business intelligence tool? Why do companies require, or you as a professional, you require a business intelligence tool? Now you have to ask a question to yourself. Why data is so important for us? We talk about big data analytics. We talk about data warehouses. So many technical terminologies we use. Now, data warehouse is somewhere you store the structured and clean data, where you can retrieve at any point of time, and you can create visualizations. Now, big data analytics is something wherein you collect data from live stream studios, or maybe you can have IoTs or chatbots from where you get continuous updates from different sources. These are the live sources through which big data analytics collect data, and you store it, and you design a lot of visualizations and decision makings, or you can analyze the data in that matter. Now, that's the reason we use the business intelligence tool. It has greater capabilities wherein it can integrate with all these different sources, and it helps you to have faster decisions. Okay, you can have answers. It has one of the most important features of using the natural language query. Like, you can type any question, it will give you the answer from the data. Okay, so that's one of the most important features of having a Power BI. It helps you for fast resolution of any questions that you have for the business. That stops you from taking business decisions. The next part is, it is used for quick analysis. Something which seems to be cluttered, complex, you break it down, you chunk the data, you chop the data, and it completely helps it in quick analysis. So that's one of the added advantages of Power BI. So you don't look the data as a whole, but you break it down, you chunk the data, you chop the data into different formats, apply your business rules, and it helps you to do quick analysis on your data as well. The next part is collaboration. Now, we also spoke about the business application, that is the Power BI business service, or Power BI service, the business intelligence service, which is a cloud-based platform. Even the mobile application of Power BI helps in collaboration. It also has one of the wonderful features wherein you can collaborate with Microsoft Teams. It's a Microsoft product, so obviously it has greater capabilities to integrate with its own applications. So you can instantly share your dashboards with anyone within your team members. You can also have certain entry and exit restrictions. No one can easily access your data. So the security feature is also one of the greatest assets of Power BI. Then helps you to know your business better. Now you understand the data, you understand the entire pulse of the business. You know where the loopholes are. The data speaks for you. It's not that you have to go anywhere. Now, if you understand, if you go back to 15, 20 years, wherein understanding the data was very difficult. Now, there were different waves in which we went through. Earlier, the initial wave was like the business was completely dependable on the IT professionals. You need any data for the business, in-depth analysis, metadata, which helps you in business decision making. You have to completely be reliable on your IT professionals. Then the next wave came wherein the business intelligence tool was completely used by business analysts. Now, again, they were also dependent somewhere on the IT professionals to get the data, but the business analysts or the data analysts were in a position to understand the data and use decision making. When the user like us, who does not have that much of mastery or the technical expertise, we can still use the data and make meaningful insights out of the data. And that's time constraint, we have certain restrictions, but if you can just deep dive into some companies like Mayer, okay, they used Power BI as a business analytics tool. It's a big conglomerate in itself, and they started using business analytics as like Power BI as a BI tool for their companies, and every department started analyzing and studying the data in depth. It helped them in such a way that significantly the business scaled up. Every business it was able to take corrective actions and correct the loopholes based on the data which they had. So not only the past data or the historical data, but also it helps in predictive analysis, what is going to happen in future. It also uses the descriptive analysis feature. So you have the data in front of you, so you can take better decisions for your business. The next part is about the repository of the data, which is again the security feature and one of the hallmark features of Power BI. Your data gets stored. It's like the data catalog of Power BI. So your data, the metadata gets saved in Power BI. So you don't have to really worry about what exactly is going to happen to my data. So it's safe and secure. And you can retrieve at any point of time. The next part is reduces the bottlenecks. Your businesses are stuck. People are not, the management is not able to take decisions because the data is not clear. We are not able to draw inferences from the data. And that's why the roles like data analyst, data engineer, then even we have business analysts who have come and helped the business to scale up in decision making. Now, the role is very critical because also business to get the right insights about the processes or any kind of loopholes which are there, and that helps in quick decision making. You have the data instantly in front of you, not only historical data, not only past events which happened for your businesses, but also on live records. Streaming or live streaming data can also be captured with the help of Power BI. So a lot of features are there, a lot of users are there. That's the reason business intelligence tools like Power BI is catching up pace, and there are a lot of plethora of opportunities being there. Like, companies are hiring experts into this segment. Now, who uses Power BI? Now, this is a very important question. If I would like to answer, is there are many professionals. There are developers who are working as designing or customizing the application for the businesses with the help of Power BI. There are also subject matter experts. Now you name every business, even if you're into sales, even if you're in training, even if you are into customer service, you need data because you are the owner of the data. And that's where Power BI helps you to drive inferences and get into the granularity of the data. Then we also have IT professionals. Now, IT professionals, like you have the Azure, data specialist, or you have the Azure experts, or you can say even the IT professionals who are working constantly in managing the entire gateways or the data gateways for the organizations, and where Power BI comes into picture. So IT professionals have a great responsibility wherein they not only manage the entire database management gateway, but also they help in ensuring the users are getting proper information. There are certain entry exit rules, so there are certain administrative rules which are required when you're using Power BI for your businesses. So you don't have any external person or your data theft, which is one of the serious concerns for the companies. It's like taken care by these IT professionals. And there are many roles. You have data engineers, you have data analysts, you have data scientists who work on your data, and this has opened gateways for business opportunities and career opportunities for many professionals. Then the next part is your business analysis. Now, business analysts are someone who basically focuses on taking business decisions. What is good for the company? Which product is moving forward? Where the company needs to invest? Where they need to cut down on certain expenses? It's because the data speaks for them. And that's the reason we use Power BI. These are the key professionals, and there are many such professionals who can use Power BI. In addition to this, like you can have the academicians, you can have the research scholars, you can have someone who is into training, who can use Power BI to get more details, to get more insights about your data. You can present your data in a very structured and methodical way. Then, it's very important for us to understand the architecture of Power BI is, how it works. What is the architecture of Power BI? Now, here's a quick overview for it. Now, we have, as I told you, like Power BI has its inbuilt intelligence where it helps us to connect with different data sources. Now, a company, let's take any example of a company like Amazon. It is a big, huge conglomerate. Now, it has thousands and thousands of warehouses. It has so many places or branches where it serves the customers across the globe. So you can just imagine the tons and tons of data which is created on daily basis, right? So it can come through. It may not be like, okay, one branch or one unit might be saving or storing the data in online premises or on cloud-based kind of platform, like you have the Azure, you have the SQL Server database, and so on. But there are also other branches. They might store in local directories like Excel. You have the PDF or the text files or the CSV file. So the data preparation part is one of the most important stage of Power BI. Now, it is primarily the most important feature, which is the extract, transform, and load feature. Now, you extract, you pull data from different sources. It can be in structured form, or it can be completely a raw data, unstructured data, unclean data, which may not help us to take business decisions. Now, when you do the transform, the Power Query feature, which Power BI has, it helps you to transform the data. It helps you to basically churn the data in such a way wherein you can apply your business rules to that. Unnecessary data, the data which is not structured, which is not required for the process, it can be completely chucked out. It's like basically you do a kind of a filtering process, right? And that's where the business rules comes into picture. Every company, every businesses has its own rule set for that, and that's the reason. You need a tool or an application like Power BI, wherein you take only that much of data which is required for you as per your business rules. And applied, you store it in a data warehouse. Now, as I told you, what is a data warehouse? Data warehouse is primarily a repository of data where only the structured, cleaned, and processed data is available for further, processing or usage of the data. So you have the data warehouse. It can be on online premise. It can be in your own data warehouses. It depends on the organization. Most of the companies now, they have switched to Azure platform, which is a cloud-based platform to store the data. You don't need a hardware as such to store your tons and tons of big data or even your regular data. Now, once you apply the business rules, your data is now available in a fresh format. Here you apply the features of Power BI, like the visualization features, which are there. You can do the reporting. You can use various data modeling concepts, or you can apply the data modeling rules to your data, wherein you can develop different relationships between the data. And once you prepare wonderful visualizations, you can share it across the platforms like Power BI service or Power BI mobile applications across the different stakeholders who are there for decision making. Or also you can promote your business. You can help your stakeholders to understand how the business is progressing. It's also used to educate your stakeholders in different ways. Now, one more feature I would like to add is like your data is connected in every possible way. Now, even if you publish your data, you create dashboards and publish it on Power BI service or mobile application of Power BI, which supports different formats. Like it also supports your Windows, it also supports your Android, Linux, and all sorts of platforms, even your iOS. So that's the reason we use Power BI. It is well integrated and suitable and customized according to the requirement of the business. Now, even if there is any update in the data, you apply the business rules of auto refresh, which is an inbuilt feature of Power BI, and automatically your data get refreshed. So you have live updates about your data. So nothing is like outdated. So that's one of the wonderful features of Power BI. And this is the basic infrastructure, architecture of Power BI, which helps us to understand the workflow or the pattern of work which happens in Power BI. I hope this is quite clear. If you have any questions, you can please type it in the chat box. Once we are done, I'll try to answer your questions. Then, now what is the component? Now this is a very important phase of Power BI. We understood how Power BI architecture is and what are the uses of Power BI, why Power BI is used. But to support my statements, what I just said, I would give you a complete walkthrough of what are the different components of Power BI. Now we start with something like Power Query. Now, someone who is familiar with Excel must be aware of the Power Query feature of Excel. Now, it is not easy, you have to basically download the Power Query feature in Excel, but it's not the case with Power BI. It is inbuilt, it's available once you download the Power BI desktop. Now, what Power Query does is primarily it helps you to work on your data. It is primarily you do complete breakdown of the data, remove unnecessary stuff which is there in the data, and you completely clean the data, you transform the data. So this is again called as a transforming tool, which is used in Power BI. Then we have the Power Pivot, something what we use in Excel, the Power Pivot feature. The same is inbuilt in Power BI. We use like the metrics feature. We have the table feature, which presents your data in a structured and in a tabular format. And that's what gives a complete detailed analysis about your data. You can basically, Power Pivot feature basically helps you to give more, it gives you a kind of leverage to work on your data. If you do not need the complete analysis, you just need something in what is required or in a customized way or in a tailored manner, you can use Power BI feature of like the Power Pivot feature of Power BI. Then we have the Power View. Now, Power View is primarily the visualization tool, which is there in Power BI. I'll just give you a kind of an example, like how we can create different visualizations in Power BI. Now, if you can just have a look at this, page, you have different visualizations. I have created something like tree map. I've used something like column chart. It's a pie chart, and this is just like, for example, you have a feature like metrics. You have even something like scorecard, where you can easily publish your data, or you can just pull in chunks and chunks of data, cut it short, and make it. You can apply the business rules, and you can just place it as per your requirement. You don't need the entire information. Now, if you understand the data is huge, but if you go through the visualization, it helps you to understand, okay, this is where my business is going. This is where I need to, focus on, and this is where I need to take certain steps or strategize in such a way so that my losses are taken care. So there are a lot of things which you can primarily work with Power BI, and this is one of the of Power Views. Everything is in visualized format. You can take easy decisions. The next is your Power Map. Now, Power Map is basically where you can use the geospatial features of Power BI, wherein you want to represent or you want to create a kind of a feature wherein, or a kind of you can apply the business rules of Power BI, like using the Power Map feature. Now, it tells you location-wise how the business is moving. Okay, now you can take any country, and it tells you, okay, in these regions the business is moving in this way. The sales have, okay, there have been maximum sales in USA, and the sales are going down in European region. And that's easily represented with the help of this Power Map feature of Power BI. So you can basically view your data according to the geospatial locations. And that's really one of the great features. There are a lot of different types of maps which you can create in Power BI. Then we have the data catalog, which I just spoke. You can keep a repository of data. The data is safe. You can even store. It also stores your metadata. So once data is uploaded, it has this inbuilt memory analytics which stores your data, and you can retrieve and pull your data at any point of time. So it also gives you a lot of leverage on that. Then data management gateway is again where company has its own cloud-based data management systems, and Power BI is primarily is well integrated to pull out data from these sources as well. So primarily, if you say what is data gateway, it is primarily like a kind of a gatekeeper between your cloud-based servers and your Power BI. So it creates a connection between your cloud-based data management system and your Power BI. Now, wonderful feature, again, I told you it has auto refresh features where if you dump in your data and if there are any kind of updates in your data, it automatically refreshes the same. You don't have to visit or revisit the data again and again, apply again the business rules or work on the data and then ensure that the data is refreshed. It's nothing like that. You have the inbuilt feature of auto refresh. You can just set a kind of a reminder to your Power BI service engine, wherein it will refresh your data maybe on weekly basis, maybe a quarterly basis, or maybe on daily basis as well. So that feature is really wonderful feature of Power BI. Then we have the Power BI Q&A. Now, this is really an interesting tool of Power BI. Someone who is novice to this and someone who doesn't understand the analytics or the visualizations to that extent, they can easily type in the questions using the natural language feature of Power BI, and it gives you instant response. I'll show you, I'll give you a walkthrough on this once we are done with the presentation. So this is really wonderful and amazing feature of Power BI. It is also available in Power BI Desktop as well as in Power BI Service, which is a cloud-based or SaaS platform, software as a service. Then the Power BI Service, which I already told you, it's a cloud-based platform which helps you to collaborate and share data, create dashboards, reports, and send it across to different users or stakeholders within the organization. Only those people who are having the access rights would be able to view your data, right? And once the data is published on your dashboard, no one can actually edit the data unless you give them the rights to edit the data. In fact, you are the owner of your data. You create and publish the reports. People can only view it either on their mobile or either on their tabs, either on their desktop or laptop. So it has that customization feature where it is easily, it adapts to different devices automatically. So that's, really makes Power BI one of the powerful tools in business intelligence domain. Now, it is also important for us to understand blocks of Power BI. Now, it's like, I'll make you very simple. Now, why building blocks? Because when you construct something, now for construction of a house, you need some material. You need something as a raw material, or you need something. The same thing applies in Power BI. Now, what are the building blocks, or what makes Power BI so special? These are the building blocks of Power BI. Now, we have the data sets, we have the dashboards, reports, visualizations, and tiles. So these are primarily the building blocks of Power BI. Now, we said data sets because nothing is possible without data. You cannot do any visualization if you are not having a data. So Power BI can connect to more than thousands and thousands of data sources. Now it is like, it's too much for, someone who is new to the Power BI platform, but yes, it connects to different sources. You can even pull out data from Facebook, you can even pull out data from IoT servers or something like that, which gives you insights on daily basis. And even on your local directory or from your Excel file, your CSV file, your TXT file, so many sources, Oracle, Azure, and so many platforms. And that's what makes as a data set. So data set is nothing but it is something where you pull data from different sources that creates a data set. You can even establish relationships if there are any, and And one of the features of Power BI is that if you pull out data from different sources or tables, it will automatically try to establish a relationship between the data if it thinks so. 90% times, yes, it gives you a relationship, but 10% probability is there that you might have to do that work for yourself. But yes, its inbuilt intelligence guides you or guides the user to that extent. Now, once you have the data set, you can create visualizations. Now, visualizations is something like I just showed you how you can create different visualizations. There are almost 36 visualizations which are readily available on your Power BI desktop. You can just drag and drop and the data is created instantly. It doesn't even take more than 10 to 15 seconds to create a data. That's quick, and that's how fast Power BI is. Then once your visualizations are created, it is like reports are something like it's one page. If you have multiple visualizations, it is called as a report. Okay, like you have how you have in Excel sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. In the same way, Power BI has page 1, page 2, page 3. So every page, if it has multiple visualizations or metrics or any kind of tabular data represented in it, that is called as a report. And once that report is created, you can just pull out and dump those visualizations to your dashboard. And that's what dashboard is all about. So it is basically a kind of storytelling model which Power BI has. Someone just has a glance through the data and he or she can understand what is the company it's going through. Are we sailing through rough patches, or are we having great business going on, or we have any kind of future business decisions to take on? So it guides the person. It's like a story which goes on when a person looks at the dashboard. Then every dashboard, like tiles are something, nothing but every clip or picture or once the visualization is pasted on your dashboard, it creates a tile. Now I'll just give you a quick glimpse of it. Now this is a dashboard. It is a sales performance dashboard which I have created. Now this is nothing like this visualization, and there are 4 visualizations. So each visualization creates a tile. This is a tile, this is a tile, this is also a tile, and this is also a tile. So this is a dashboard primarily, and you can name the dashboard as per your requirement, and it is easily visible to all the users with whom you are able to share the dashboard. So this is what is all about the building blocks of Power BI. Now moving forward, what type of job opportunities you can have? Now, if you go and understand the different websites, now this is like one Gartner data which was published. Now, Gartner is one of the most prestigious research organizations. They have rated Microsoft Power BI product as the leading business intelligence tool across the globe, which is followed by Tableau and some other technologies. So there is a stiff competition between Microsoft Power BI and Tableau. But yes, if you understand from the real-time statistics or data which is presented, Power BI always wins the race. It's not because only the visualization factor, as I told you, there are a lot of other features. Even if you go to the Power Query feature, we have the mQuery language, which helps the user to apply more detailed analysis to the data. Then we also have the DAX functionality, which is the most powerful feature of Power BI. So there are a lot of things, technicalities which are there in Power BI, which makes it stand out from the rest of the BI tools which are there in the market. Now, even if you understand the data or the statistics, it clearly shows that since May 2014, the graph or the demand for Power BI professionals have increased in leaps and bounds. So there's a steep hike in the demand for Power BI professionals. So someone who wants to make a career into data analytics or data science, the Power BI knowledge is absolutely essential for these professionals. Then finally, I would like to conclude my presentation by saying that Power BI is a smart BI tool, wherein we can't compare it with any other BI tools which are there in the market. But yes, it has its own capabilities, and it has its own potential, which helps the analysts, decision makers, or the leaders of the organization to understand the pulse of the business. It gives you complete understanding and clarity of how the business is going with the help of the data. It can even take big data into picture and help you to make meaningful insights from unstructured, raw, and unfurnished data. Then it is user friendly. Someone who starts learning Power BI in the morning would at least understand more than basics by end of the evening, right? Because if someone has used Excel functions or functionality, for them learning Power BI is quite easy. Then it is like user friendly. It gives you a lot of insights about the data, more insights, more granularity. You can break the data as per your requirement and get, you can deep dive into any given data with the help of Power BI. Then it has a lot of capabilities to integrate and collaborate with multiple data sets, which we just saw. So with this, I end my presentation. And before we move to the next phase, I would just invite all the participants, if they have any questions or if they want to ask anything, you can unmute, you can speak, or you can type it in the chat box. I would love to read your responses. So you can just let me know if you have any questions or you would like to get more clarity or on any concept. Please feel free to ask. Okay, fine. So before we wind up the session, I would like to run the poll. So you can just share your feedback. How did you find the session? Was it useful or not? You can just share it. Your ratings on the session. So I'll be just launching the poll. Okay, I have a question, I guess, chat box. Yeah. So what type of, which type of organizations use Power BI? Small, medium, large? Now, good question. Now, see, Power BI is useful for different organizations. Now, depending on the level of business that you have. Now, even companies, small scale businesses, they have also started using the business intelligence feature of Power BI, or they have also started using BI tools because it helps them to understand the businesses. Because some companies which are in the startup phase, they also need to know how the business is moving. Now, instead of hiring an expert or a consultant from outside and shelling out thousands and thousands of rupees or dollars for them, you have that capability where you can take decisions for your business by yourself. And this is what Power BI does. So I think it is suitable for all types of organization. And one most important part of Power BI is that it's not that expensive. Now, if you say even for a single user like me, I might have to shell out just like, for example, $100 or $150 per month. That's how reasonable it is, right? And if you take if you have a huge business and you have many users, so you get more discounted rates per user when you take a complete package for your organization. Yeah, so Jason has a question. Do we need any prerequisite skills to learn Power BI? Jason, you do not need any prerequisite skills. It's just that if you're keen to learn and understand, you are concept easily. And someone who has used Excel, for them, learning Power BI is just like an added extension of what you have learned in Excel. Because Excel itself, if you are using advanced Excel features or functions, the same thing is incorporated in DAX, and that's what draws similarity between Power BI and advanced Excel. So I think it's like very easy if you just focus on the concepts, understand the basics. It's very easy because visualization anyone can create. It just takes 10 to 15 seconds to get the visualization, and that's how smart Power BI is. So anyone can learn Power BI, to be very honest. Yes, any more questions? Please share your feedback. Thank you so much for your wonderful questions. Thanks, Jason. Thanks. Anyone, you can please ask or type your questions in the chat box. So another question is how easy it is for business people with no technical background to learn and get useful information from Power BI. So very good question. Now, as I told you, Power BI, let's make it in a very simple way. Everyone has a different role to play in Power BI. Now, someone who is a data scientist or a data engineer might have to work on the ground rules or setting up the premises for the businesses to use Power BI or work on the data, uh, break down the data into different chunks so that it can be easily transferred to the data analyst and they have to manage the data uh, wherever it is coming from. Maybe that is the role of data analyst. Maybe they have to work on the data. They have to manage, something like managing the administration part, setting certain rules for the users. That is completely the role of the data analyst. But someone who is even a non-technical person, right? They also need certain information which is shared by the data analysts. And that's where they can use something like, for example, the BI service platform or the mobile application platform of Power BI. They can just have a walkthrough of okay, this is the dashboard. This is telling me this story. Okay, this is how my business has moved on in the last quarter. You can do a complete analysis of past data, present data, and how you can even derive predictive analysis or analytics for future data as well. So anyone can access Power BI service. Anyone can use Power BI, depending on the role that you play. Now, someone who is at a CEO level, he might not do the kind of data, he may not apply the data analyst rule which is required. He might just be the end user. He might just see the data which is coming from the data analysts. And that's how they see the data. But the role of data analyst is so critical that they have to really make sure that the data which is presented to the management, it is completely an authentic data. There's the rules which are applied, the formulation which takes place, the functions which are applied, the data modeling which takes place, it has to be accurate. Otherwise, if you present a wrong information to the end users or to the stakeholders, they might take wrong decisions as well. So that's how different people play different roles in Power BI. Okay, next question. Yeah, thank you so much. So I hope I am able to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Over to you, Antonio.
Thank you, Prashant, and thank you to all of you for your time to join us today. For the next 35 hours, we have a 35% discount for all upcoming courses. Feel free to contact us for any public and in-house training. Please visit our website for more courses, and don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube for more digital technology insights. You can join us on Thursday when Karishma Prasad will be talking about creating culture of quality. Have a nice week. See you on Thursday. I'll type it in the chat box, the discount code, and you can use it from today. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.